Hello everyone, welcome to the new concept mixed economy. Before going further, I want to make one thing very clear. India is a mixed economy. Or going again somewhat more in detail, I want to tell you most of the modern economies are mixed economies. What is this point must be very clear. Most of the modern economies in today's era are mixed economy. It is based on to what degree they follow the characters of mixed economy. But remember, first thing, India is a mixed economy and most of the modern economies in today's world are mixed economies. We will try to understand every point. So what is mixed economy? An economic system where both private enterprises and government sectors share the stage together with each other is a mixed economy. It is coexistence of private players as well as government players is a mixed economy. For example, in simple terms, in case of India, we have government institutions, government companies as well as private companies working simultaneously with each other. So it is mixed economy. All modern mixed economies are mixed economy where the means of productions are shared between private sector and public sector. This mixed economy is also called as dual economy. Try to remember this word from UPSC prelims point of view. Many a time UPSC will not give you word mixed economy, but it will give you word dual economy. Mixed economy is also called as a dual economy. Various characters. First, it gives you personal freedom. Second, private property is allowed. Profit motive as well as social welfare motive, both motives are taken care of in case of mixed economy. It keeps check on economic inequalities. It makes an attempt that economic inequality can be reduced through government efforts and government measures. There is coexistence of private as well as government companies. Like in case of India, we have Reliance Jio, we have Tata, we have Adani. Simultaneously, we have Steel Authority of India Limited, we have Bharat Petroleum Corporation Limited or BSNL, which are government companies. So private as well as government companies coexist together with each other. Also here in case of mixed economy, prices are decided in two ways. Prices of certain goods and services are decided by government, which are essential services, whereas prices of certain goods and services are based on demand and supply in the market. For example, prices of gold, prices of diamond, prices of jewelry or prices of certain luxurious goods are based on demand and supply, whereas prices of certain essential commodities like petroleum is there, kerosene is there, diesel is there, and in before 1990s era, prices of cement, steel or other factors which are very scarce were decided by government. So in mixed economy, it is combination of government prices. When government decides prices, it is called as administered prices, whereas certain goods and services prices are decided by its demand and supply. In case of mixed economy, we have various kinds of planning. One is indicative planning, second is induced planning. We'll try to understand these concepts in very simple manner. Here we'll try to understand what is indicative planning. See, before understanding the point indicative planning, I want to give you a comparison between capitalist economy and socialist economy. In capitalist economy, it is completely market planning. It means planning is based on needs, requirement and priorities of the market. Whereas in case of socialist economy, it is command and control planning. What is meaning of command and control planning? It means in these socialist economy, the planning is being done by government whether it is acceptable to private sector or not. But in case of mixed economy, we have indicative planning. Means what? It means government shall indicate its priorities. Government will not force market. Government will not frame rules. Government will not in any way restrict the private player to invest their investment in certain direction. Government will indicate its own priorities. For example, let us say government says it wants to invest, let us say 5 lakh crore rupees in infrastructure sector, in infra. It means government indicated its priority. Now the private player thinks, since government is going to invest almost 5 lakh crore rupees in infrastructure, it is good opportunity to earn profit in next 5 years. So private player will make or will changes its priorities as per the needs and requirement of the government, so that private player can invest in infrastructure and earn profit from that sector. Here government's two agendas are fulfilled. First, government gets finances, expertise for infrastructure, and second, government gets to have roads in the rural areas through these private players. So government do not force any private player, government just indicates its priority, and after indicating priority, all private sectors invest in that sector, so that private sector earn profit, government gets the required government sector gets the required infrastructure, required investment in that sector. So it is indicative planning, which means government indicates its priority and investment from private sector comes accordingly. Why? Government wants the thing to happen, private sector wants profit. Both the objectives of these two players are fulfilled in indicative planning. Next one is induced planning. What is induced planning? It means government lures private sector. Government induces private player that if you invest in this sector, you will get this benefit. For example, from many years, government wants to build manufacturing sector. Manufacturing sector is one of the key sector for any economy. Why? Because manufacturing sector is a labor intensive sector. Now, what is meaning of labor intensive sector? The sector which produces more labor per unit of capital formation. More labor per unit of capital formation is a labor intensive sector. So manufacturing sector is priority of government. Why? It is labor intensive sector. What is labor intensive sector? The sector of economy which produces more labor per unit of capital is a labor intensive sector. So government forces or government goes for creating more and more labor intensive sector. Now, to have investment from private sector in this labor intensive sector, government brought one policy which was called as a SAYS policy. Now, government cannot force private player. Why? Because if private players are forced, they will leave Indian economy, the investment will move out of the Indian economy. So what government goes for? Government induces these private players. Like in case of special economic zone, certain tax benefits were given to developers as well as the industrialists who are coming into those special economic zones. What were the benefits? Like government said that for first 5 years there will not be any kind, there will be zero income tax. For next 5 years there will be 50% income tax, and for next 5 years, like for last 15 years, the plowed back income, this term is important, it will have almost 50% income tax. So you are getting tax benefits for almost 15 years. So this is the benefit that government gives you. Now, if I am industrialist and I am getting benefit for 15 years, definitely I will go and invest in that special economic zone. I repeat once again, government is inducing private player to invest in that region by giving tax benefit for almost 15 years. For first 5 years, 0% income tax will be there. For next 5 years, 50% income tax shall be there. And for next 5 years, your plowed back income shall have 50% income tax exemption. Now, what is meaning of plowed back income? An income earned from a business, when this income is invested again in the same business, it is called as a plowed back income. Let us say I have a dairy business. From dairy business I earn 1000 rupees. Out of this 1000 rupees, if I invested, let us say 500 rupees again in the dairy, then that 500 rupees shall be counted as a plowed back income. So government is inducing me by giving me tax benefit and I am investing in that special economic zone. So these are certain ways government induces private players to get investment. So this is the important thing which you need to understand. So there is coexistence of private as well as government companies, and we have these two kinds of planning. One is indicative planning and second one is induced planning. We have democratic socialism in mixed economy. Here the term democratic has been taken from capitalist economies and socialism has been taken from socialist economies. Remember this word, mixed economies are also called as democratic socialism, where the term democratic has been taken from capitalist economy and the term socialism has been taken from socialist economy. Mixed economy aims at distributive and redistributive justice. We have seen these two terms. Distributive justice we have seen in article 39b and redistributive justice we have seen in article 39c. So these are the objectives of mixed economy. It is combination of market and command economy, which is a combination of private player, capitalist economy and socialist economy. Government, these two terms are very, very important. Government takes care of needs of the people, people's need. No, needs are basic, whereas marketplace takes care of people's want. People's wants are not basic, they are beyond basic, like roti, kapda, makan, irrigation, infrastructure, seed, fertilizer. These are people's needs. So all these things are being taken care by government, whereas to have entertainment, to have luxurious lifestyle, to have more operations, to have higher level of education, all these things are being taken care by the marketplace, where market charges fees. So here try to remember these two sentences very clearly. Government takes care of people's needs, whereas marketplace takes care of people's wants. Thank you very much. Keep watching and keep sharing the lectures. Have a good day.